Hi, my name is Haley Nunn, and I'm going to be doing my IB research project on the English Renaissance. So the English Renaissance is a period of rebirth, and the Renaissance actually is French for rebirth, and it was a period that immediately followed the Middle Ages and was characterized by a new interest in art and science. The movement is split into two parts, which was the revival of classical literature and learning, as well as classical art. The Renaissance was the period that birthed the Copernican system of astronomy, some of the greatest art of any time period, the decline of the feudal system, paper, printing, compasses, and gunpowder. However, the Renaissance period is mainly credited for the beautiful art and theater that it provided. Artists like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael, and Donatello completely changed the way the art was created. Paintings like the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper are still so important to art history today. The literature that was important to this time period includes the Divine Comedy written by Dante and The Birth of Venus by Sarah Dunant. However, in this presentation, I'll obviously be focusing on the theater portion of the Renaissance. So some popular theater of the time was Othello, Hamlet, and Romeo and Juliet, written by William Shakespeare, Dr. Faustus, written by Christopher Marlowe, The Alchemist, written by Ben Jonson, The White Devil, written by John Webster, The Night of the Burning Pestle, written by Francis Beaumont, and The Shoemaker's Holiday, written by Thomas Dekker. Some popular playwrights were Francis Beaumont, who was born in 1584 and died in 1616, and his most popular play was The Night of the Burning Pestle. Thomas Dekker, who was born in 1570 and died in 1632, and his most famous play was The Shoemaker's Holiday. William Shakespeare, who was born in 1564 and died in 1616, who wrote Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet. John Webster, who was born in 1578 and died in 1632, and his most famous plays were The White Devil and The Duchess of Malfi. And then Christopher Marlowe, who was born in 1564 and died in 1593, and Ben Jonson, who was born in 1572 and died in 1637. So some special features of English Renaissance theater are mystery plays, which was a part of religious festivals that were complex retellings of legends based on biblical themes. These evolved into morality plays and the university drama, which attempted to recreate Greek tragedy. This was also the first time period to see theater performed in an actual theatrical space that would make profit. Popular theaters included the Globe, the Swan, the Fortune, the Curtain Theater, and the Red Bull. Most actors were not involved in just a singular play for an extended period of time. They were most likely in multiple different shows in the same period of time. Troupes were also unique because they were made up of only male actors. The separate plays were normally very simple, usually remaining bare with only important props being the main thing on the stage, as well as normal street clothes to perform in, since costumes were too expensive at the time. Also, since English in that time was complicated just because of the speech that they used, it's very different from ours now, and so plays in this time period also included more complicated dialogue. And the most popular genres at the time were the tragedy and the comedy, which also had a mix of the two called tragic comedies. Some effects on modern theater were the main impact was the development of the permanent theater that we now see today. Troupes these days involve both men and women, so that's really not something we don't really see women portraying men's characters or men portraying women's characters anymore. And sets and costumes are also much more complex than those in the Renaissance era in this particular day and age, and language is more modern and simple. So the sample piece that I chose to perform is from Hamlet by William Shakespeare. I decided to go with a very recognizable piece from Hamlet, which is where Hamlet finds Yorick's skull in the graveyard right before he goes to kill King Claudius. And in order to hold on to other aspects of Renaissance theater, I would be performing in street clothes because of the fact that in that time they did not have money for expensive or crazy complex costumes. So, scene. Let me see. Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him. Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. He hath bore me on his back 1,000 times, and now how abhorred in my imagination it is. My gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips that I have kissed, I know not how oft. Where be your gibes now, your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that were wont to see the table on a roar? Not one now to mock your own grinning, quite chapfallen. Now get you to my lady's chamber and tell her, let her paint an inch thick to this favor. She must come, make her laugh at that. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing. Thank you.